Hey, welcome everyone. I'm just giving the panelists a moment the audience a moment to be welcomed in. But we're going to get started kind of right on time because we have a lot of content. So, good evening and welcome to the Special Education Legal Fund webinar series. I am Laura Sullivan and I am the staff attorney for Self Legal Aid. I'm excited tonight to be here with a wonderful panel for a discussion on a very important topic. Though the weather isn't cooperating this week, summer is coming, and parents frequently wonder about how they can support their child with diverse learning needs in the summer. And we're going to talk about just that. So, first, for some housekeeping, I would like to thank our corporate sponsors. We really couldn't do the work that we do without them. At our platinum level, we have WealthSpire and Eagle Hill School. At gold level, we have Winston Preparatory School. At our silver level, we have American School for the Deaf, Villa Maria School, Chapel Haven Schleifer Center, Fusion Academy, the Pinnacle School, and Spire School. And at our bronze level, we have the Windward School and our newest sponsor, Sasco River Center. If you are not familiar with Special Education Legal Fund, our mission is to provide resources and knowledge to families in need with children in the special education system. SELF seeks to empower parents and guardians to fully advocate for their students and to level the playing field for families in need with children in special education. In September 2025, SELF began providing direct legal services to qualifying families in the area of special education for students with IEPs in Connecticut through SELF Legal Aid, and that is my current position. SELF currently provides grants for legal support and advocacy to families in need with children in the special education system in Connecticut and Westchester County, New York, through the Attorney Grant and the Advocate Grant programs. For more information on any of those programs, please visit our website at www.spedlegalfund.org. This is our penultimate webinar for the 25-26 school year, and you can join us on Wednesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. for our final webinar of the school year, How to Assess the Best School District for Your Child. We have another great panel for that discussion, and we will set out to provide some insight on this really popular question that comes up a lot that doesn't really have a direct answer. So registration, as always, is free on Eventbrite. And finally, I wouldn't be a lawyer without a disclaimer. So the webinar panel is presented for informational purposes only. The webinar is intended as a resource for families who are navigating the special education system in Connecticut or New York, and is not intended to provide legal support, advice, or assistance to any particular individual, nor is it intended to replace the advice and counsel of a qualified special education attorney. Families in need of legal advice, support, or assistance should contact a special education attorney licensed to practice in Connecticut or New York, or if you're from a different state, from that state, to discuss the specific needs of their individual student. This webinar should not be construed as an endorsement by Special Education Legal Fund or any of its representatives of any of the participating attorneys, advocates, or other professionals in the panel, nor should it be construed as an endorsement of any school or school representative invited to appear on this panel. So I'm going to stop sharing that. We are recording the webinar as always, and as a registrant, you will receive a copy of the recording through Eventbrite likely tomorrow. The recordings are also posted to our Facebook page and eventually make their way to our website where you can find previous webinars as well. And so if you miss anything, you have the opportunity to watch again or share. We are going to be monitoring the chat. Please don't submit questions that are specific to your child for privacy reasons. If the questions are relevant to the discussion, I will do my best to work them in. We may not get to all questions, and we have a really full agenda to cover. If you have a question regarding a program in a specific school that is discussed tonight, I would say reach out to the panelists directly. And now on to our main event. I'm going to briefly tell you who everyone is on the screen, And the panelists would be able to give their own introduction in a few minutes, and their full bios were available on the registration page if you are interested in those. So we have from American School for the Deaf, I believe this is his first self-webinar, Justin Brooks. We have returning panelists, including Winston Preparatory School, Jordan Yanati. From Fusion Academy, we have Amanda Sylvester. From Villa Maria School, we have Bill DeHaven. And finally, from Eagle Hill School, we have back with us Megan Colvin. We also have Danielle Terrio and Julie Sharp here as our American Sign Language to English interpreters this evening. So to start us off, could each panelist briefly introduce yourself, your school, and the type of learners your summer program is designed to support? And let's start with Amanda.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amanda Sylvester. I am the head of school at Fusion Academy in Fairfield. We also have another campus close by in Greenwich. Both programs are very similar. So the types of students we serve in the summer, it's really a wide variety, but primarily we are seeing students that need credit recovery in full courses or full semesters of courses across all curriculum areas. We also work a lot with students that need reading remediation, math remediation, writing support, students that really need to close the gap on some specific skills over the summer. A lot of students with ADHD, anxiety. We also serve students who have been out of school throughout the school year that may have missed a lot of either credits, didn't complete the credits that they were hoping to for the year due to being in treatment or a variety of things, and come to Fusion over the summer to earn those credits or close some gaps from content that's been missed.
Thank you. And again, the brief introductions, and we'll get to hear more about each program a little later in the webinar. Megan, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Megan Colvin. I work at Eagle Hill School in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I'm one of the co-directors of our summer program, which is called SOAR. So the SOAR program is open to students with language-based learning differences, which mirrors our regular year program. So we offer small class sizes that target academic skills for students who are in need of remediation. The classes are grouped based on skills and strengths. And we also have an integrated service model, so counseling and language services are integrated into the classroom. But there's just no homework in the summer, which is nice.
That is nice. Justin, would you like to go next?
Hello, my name is Justin, and I work as the Director of Student Liaison and at ASD. Students who need support with English, reading and writing skills, and language and sign language communication and accessibility. We have a bridge program that supports life skills, reading and writing proficiency skills as well.
Thank you. Jordan.
Good evening, Jordan Yanati. I'm the director of the summer program and also the assistant head of school. Our program here in Norwalk, Connecticut, our summer program, is designed to work with students with learning differences, which include nonverbal learning disabilities, language processing learning disabilities, as well as executive functioning challenges.
Thank you, Jordan. And Bill.
Thank you, Laura. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill DeHaven from Villa Maria School in North Stamford. Our kids range in their struggles from kids with social communication problems, kids with receptive and expressive language struggles, executive functioning struggles, decoding struggles, and they are grouped according to their learning profile throughout the summer, in addition to throughout the school year.
Thank you. So we're going to get to some general questions, and I'm going to kind of target two panelists for each of them, so we can kind of move through the questions. So we're going to start with kind of the expectations that parents can have for any summer program. So Megan, we're going to start with you. Megan, many families wonder whether summer programs are meant for remediation, maintenance, enrichment, or skill building. So how do you typically define the goals of your summer programming, and how are those goals determined?
So, one of the ways that it's important if you're a parent that's looking for a summer program is to see what is happening behind the scenes prior to the summer program starting. So, for us, our programs are generally defined just kind of by our approach to learning at Eagle Hill. So, making sure that parents are familiar with what the goals of that school are. So, for us, kids come and they're struggling in at least one academic area. So really thinking about what parents would be able to get from a program throughout the summer. So if you're outside of the school that you typically go to, really making sure that the program that you're looking for has some type of academic screening. So prior to the summer program, we have academic screenings to determine appropriate classes and really fill in those foundational holes. And really giving the child as many strategies as possible that they can use within their schools in the next placement. And really kind of thinking about what would be achievable within the 4 weeks. We have a 4 week program, but what would be achievable within that time frame within a summer program. So for us, really, we're looking for students to be able to feel confident, have the experience of knowing what it feels like to be in a classroom with a teacher who understands you. So again, really just making sure that you understand the goals of the school in general, and then how the program is approaching placement and those student goals within their program.
Thank you. Jordan, is there anything that you'd like to add to that? Oh, you're muted, Jordan.
Our summer program here, similar to what Megan is sharing, and in terms of, we're looking at students at their profile. Through the admissions summer process, we're really trying to determine, those small cohorts that can really address those individual needs. Our summer program really focuses on the development of academic skill building. We're looking to develop reading comprehension, written expression, the organization study skills, those math skills. And we really do it in a small environment that really ties everything together then through our one-to-one focus program, which is integrated into our summer program as well, where those students who attend our program have that opportunity to meet with that same teacher every day for 45 minutes to really work on their greatest areas of need. And that's the point person who is providing those updates to the family and really is providing that comprehensive program to address those needs in that short period of time, which is, 4.5 weeks. So we really like to get started with developing those goals week one, and then to provide those updates throughout the program. And then at the end of the program, we do provide a report that speaks to how a lot of those goals have been approached and which goals are starting to emerge, because it really is just the beginning of the process.
Thank you. And, for the audience, I think the panelists are talking a little bit about their school specifically, but a lot of these things also apply in general to any kind of summer program. So I would listen to it with that kind of lens. We're going to turn to Justin now and see more of the structure of a summer day. Can you describe what a typical summer day looks like for students, including the balance between academics, therapeutic supports, social and opportunities, and enrichment activities?
Sure. At ASD Summer School, well, during the school year, they have a very full day. The summer tends to be a little bit more flexible. We do have a little bit more flexibility, and they focus on small group settings and different areas of academic improvement. We do look at their IEP goals, and we do focus on different components of that and measuring those things. We tend to have classes in the morning. They have short periods of 20 minutes. Then they have a reach program. They have lunch. They have a social emotional learning environment, vocabulary. The nonverbal students they'll look at communication skills, picture boards, different ways of interacting and different activities that they can engage with each other.
Great, thank you. Bill, would you like to add anything to that?
No, I think that it's been a lot, the structure. Sometimes I don't think I'm the best advocate for summer because I think that play is also really important. Most of us have a short half-day program that really focuses on all the remediation in the reading, writing. I think the consistency in routine for a lot of our kids is maybe one of the best. So you talked about the structure of the day. Some of our kids really need to maintain that structure over the summer, and that's one of the maybe the best reasons to look at a summer school program.
Now that's great. And I think a little later we're going to talk about that balance that, parents are always looking for between the academic and the fun summertime. So, but now we're going to talk about staffing a little bit. Amanda, I'm going to turn to you. So staffing tends to be one of the parents' biggest concerns because a lot of people are on vacation over the summer. What should families be asking about staffing ratios, consistency, and training during the summer months?
Yeah, I think that that's a great point. I think when going in so many different schools and programs, they offer different things and different structures. So, I think it's seeking out some of that clarity around if it's going to be one person, if it's a shared responsibility among staff, if there are certain people that are doing maybe different aspects of the program, making sure maybe that the staffing is it summer only, or is it their staffing that they have throughout the school year? At Fusion, the teachers we use in the summer are fully trained full-time teachers, so you're getting the same teachers in the summer. And then we also have trained teachers that are specifically trained in certain course offerings that we only offer in the summer as well. So just making sure that the staffing aligns to what you're looking for, and seeking out within the program specifically, maybe, a little bit about who those teachers are, what the backgrounds are, what maybe their specific training is for that program, how involved maybe they are with that, within the school or the program itself, either throughout the summer or through the year. But then again, like there's so many things that come up in the summer. So that consistency, I think, of teacher is really important. So making sure that hopefully you're having that same teacher throughout the summer. And if not, then what's the plan for that sort of information to be shared along the way amongst the staffing that they have?
And Jordan, I'm going to ask you the same question because Fusion has such a unique model with the one-to-one. So in a school that might have a larger staff for the summer that's not one-to-one, would that look any different?
Hi, this is the interpreter. I'm just going to interrupt. I've been here. I'm trying to switch with my team. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, go ahead.
So, so to
Thank-
answer to answer that question, in regards to Winston's summer program, this comes up and it's always a concern of parents, who's going to be teaching during the summer. And we're always really thankful that we can share with our families that we do have our Winston trained teachers who are working here. Teachers who are teaching during the year, both in the classroom and in that one-to-one setting, that have been trained throughout the year. And these are teachers who are excited. They have that experience of working in the summer before. And it really helps because then, as Bill was sharing, that consistency and having a program where students have faces that they can kind of really feel familiar with and recognize. Especially that we also have a lot of students who use the summer program as a way to get acclimated and transition. To be able to see those same teachers come September really helps ease that transition to the full school year as well.
Thank you. And Justin, when you answered your last question, you were talking about following the IEP and the goals and objectives. How do the summer programs track student engagement or progress? And is that information shared in the same way with the family as it would be during the school year?
Absolutely. It'll be based on a review, a progress report, where documentation is made about progress every 2 weeks. And so those notes will be documenting total trend, the progress over time from the beginning to end. It'll include what exactly the student worked on and what they were learning.
Thank you. Megan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just making sure that all of the goals that were initially identified at the beginning of the summer are highlighted in the report. And just making sure that when parents are kind of looking at the goals or the report, just that it's all achievable within, the time frame of the program. So making sure that the report is accurate based on the skills that would be instructed in 4 weeks. So sometimes it's hard to necessarily see progress in that time, but kind of to Justin's point of making sure that all of the skills that were instructed and worked on are identified so that parents can build on it leading up to the regular year.
Thank you. So we're going to turn now to kind of who is a good candidate for summer programming. And I kind of want to throw in a little bit of a lightning round and just ask each of you if your school typically has students in the summer program that attend during the school year, or if they are typically students coming from maybe a public school system and spending a summer at your program. So Megan, I'll just jump back to you since you were speaking last.
Yeah, we
Just
have typically,
just a quick answer.
yeah, we have half Eagle Hill, half outside, and then I'd say maybe a handful of kids that are coming from the summer in preparation for the fall
Okay.
or
Jordan?
trying it out.
I would say Winston here is very similar too. We have about a 50-50 split, and then about a handful, maybe sometimes a little more, some particular years of students who are transitioning. But it's nice to have that balance of both outside and current Winston students.
Bill, and if you could also, in this group of schools, we have two state-approved schools. We have American School for the Deaf and we have Villa Maria. So Bill, in your answer too, are you tracking goals and objectives during the summer?
Absolutely. Yeah. Most of the kids, especially our kids who are Villa kids going to the summer program, have an extended year on their IEPs, and we're following through with those goals. But again, just like Megan and Jordan, many of our kids are kids who are our kids throughout the school year. It's a great way for our new accepted kids to start. And there's always a handful of families who do have extended year who manage to get to Villa rather than stay in their home school.
And Justin, how about it? American School for the Deaf?
There's a PCS program that's a training program. There's also and I'm
The
sorry,
PTs in the core program.
core, thank you, program. Those are maybe regular students. When there's a tour at the beginning, when they're considering a transfer, they'll usually attend that ESY summer experience to get their feet wet and see if that's something that fits for them, and then they'll transition easily for the next school year. So they're prospective students. And it's typically starting ESY. Usually they'll be the ones who'll start for that next school year for sure. It's
Thank
a
you.
half and half. Go
Okay.
ahead.
That seems to be fairly typical. How about at Fusion, Amanda?
Yeah, basically same, half and half. So half of our students that are currently here continue into the summer, some students that only come in the summer, some students that come year over year, summer to summer, and then new students that are transitioning into the fall that may start earlier than others.
Thank you all, because I think there are parents that probably don't know that some of these programs at independent schools are available to their children throughout the summer. So thank you for everybody clarifying that. Amanda, I'm going to stick with you for a moment. And from your perspective, what types of students in general tend to benefit most from summer programming? And when might a summer program not be a good fit for a student?
Yeah, I'll start with the second part. I mean, so many students are a good fit for summer. I would say the ones that we tend to struggle with or find a difficult time creating a program are the ones that really are swamped, right? They don't have a lot going on and it's really difficult to squeeze everything else in. So if we can't come up with a sort of consistent, even if it's on a small scale program for them, because we individually develop them rather than students entering into a structured program, all of ours are created upon enrollment for students. So if it's really a struggle for time, and if the student is not going to engage, so if they're not really bought in, that's who we find that it's a struggle for, and where it really really doesn't kind of come to fruition in terms of like the goals and things. Outside of that, if the students are available, they're eager enough to spend part of their summer in school. Students that we find that really benefit the most are the ones that are struggling in a couple of different areas, typically in math, writing, and reading, where they need a little bit of support in developing those skills so they can gain some confidence going into the school year. So those are the ones where it's like we can practice some of those things that are really difficult to do during the school year when you're in all of your classes at once. So just honing in on a couple of things over the course of the summer when a lot of the things are taken off of their plate from an academic standpoint. It just gives them a little bit more cognitive, mental availability to be able to focus on some of these things that would really benefit them, especially, like I said, in gaining that confidence and going into the school year.
Great. Bill, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, again, it's more from what I just said earlier in the evening. It's the kids who, I think all kids can benefit from that consistency. I think that everyone's got summer homework. It always lands to the end. Our kids who are struggling in school need to practice every day. They need a little bit of reading every day. They need a little bit of writing every day. They need a little bit of math every day. They're the ones who truly need the practice. A lot of kids, no one really wants to go to summer programs. I think that's why a lot of us have a half-day program or shorter program, so make sure that they build in that play. The kids who don't work out, or the kids in the summer program, kids who are school avoidant or really paralyzed by anxiety, developing those relationships with kids to get them into the building, they're the ones we struggle with, that it's the end of July before we're really making any progress. It's not to say we shouldn't try, but they're the ones who have the most difficult time, I think.
Thank you. So there is a question I'm going to throw out to the panel. Let's see. If a student is already approved for ESY, so that would be an extended school year program in the school district, and is multiple years behind grade level, do districts ever consider sending the student to an out-of-district intensive summer program, such as the ones we are discussing here? If a family is unable to afford to pay for something like this, what steps should be taken to address this with the district? I mean, as the attorney, I would give an attorney answer and say it depends. So maybe any of you have some advice you can give based on experience that's not very specific, because we don't want to address any student's specific needs.
I think it does depend. I mean, we're drawing from families all the way from Stamford all the way to North Haven. So we are taking kids from all over Connecticut who will be coming. Sometimes we've had districts start just with the summer, as families and advocates are fighting for more than that. And districts sometimes are more willing, especially if they don't have a very comprehensive summer program, they are willing to make that step and try out the summer. It's always worth an ask. It's a great way to start that. My kid is way behind. Let me start with just summer.
Does anybody want to add to that?
Yeah, I can share that here at Winston. It does happen that we've had students who have come to the summer program, who've received ESY through their school district, and their school district, outside of the Norwalk School District, have been able to have them here. It's unique to every family, and it's really, I always advise to please speak to an advocate, speak to an attorney, and try to reach out to your school district to see what options are available.
And Jordan, so the typical ESY programs offered in a school district are, 4 days a week for 4 weeks, July 1st to July 28th. Do the programs at the independent schools tend to run in the same kind of schedule, or are there extended dates typically?
I think it varies. I mean, our program is I think pretty similar to some of the other programs on this panel, where we're a 4.5 week program, and it's a shorter day, but it is a 5 day week, compared to, I know, usually the typical 4-day ESY programs.
Thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit about supporting behavioral, social, and emotional needs. Justin, I'm going to turn over to you. So many students experience increased dysregulation during the school year. How do summer programs support this behavioral regulation, social skills, and the emotional needs in these shorter term summer periods?
Absolutely. Really, here at American School for the Deaf, we have an incredible clinical support team, staff with and supervisors. We're here 24/7. It's a residential program. We're a community, and we are acutely aware of the needs of an individual student. If that student is prone to anxiety or overwhelm, we're able to make adjustments to fit those needs and work with the team to develop that strategic shift. It's important to maintain the motivation for school, and that's important for socializing.
Amanda, I'm going to ask you that same question because it's a very different program at Fusion. You know, Justin described the residential, a lot of support in Fusion. We're in a more one-to-one model. So how is it addressed in that type of environment?
Yeah, I mean, in our summer program in particular, students they are doing everything one-on-one. So they're really kind of just coming in, they're working with their teacher, and then they're leaving. So there's not a lot of time and opportunity for things to kind of show up in that way, because they're just in their time with their teacher. So a lot of our summer program is not building out a full day for students. They might be coming in and working with the teacher just a couple of hours per week. And if they do come in for a few hours per day, they are going maybe from teacher to teacher to teacher, with small breaks in between. So because of the one-to-one setting and that hyper focus on just that one teacher and that one student in this one subject area at a time, thankfully for in our setting, it doesn't really we don't see these types of behaviors typically show up. And again, in the summer, because it's really quiet here, there's not the hustle bustle of like a full school community. It's a really relaxing and calming environment as well. And I think kind of what I said before, where they're not dealing with all these other stressors of a typical school day happening, that again we're really seeing that we're getting a lot out of the students in the time that they come, even students that typically may struggle with some behaviors throughout the day.
And then, you know, Megan, Jordan, and Bill, you have more of a traditional peer kind of model. Is it any different at any of your places that you'd want to comment on? Just throwing it out to the three of you.
I mentioned the integrated service model. So really we have counselors that are on staff in the morning and the afternoon for the camp program. And so we really find that having those people in the classroom consistently really does kind of mitigate any type of challenges. But really, since it is a school setting, if a student isn't able to be in the classroom, then that's not usually the best fit for us. So making sure that we're balancing some of the challenges with the academics and helping them get back into the classroom as quick as possible.
So that kind of goes back to a question we had previously about maybe something is not the right fit. So there you would need a student that is able to participate in a classroom environment.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And kind of on that topic, Bill, I'm going to flip this over to you. So transitioning kids into a summer program can sometimes be difficult. And so how do you go about that? And then how do you support the transition back into the school year?
So a lot of it it's obviously much easier for our returning kids, our kids who are already Villa kids. For our new students and for the families who are just trying out the summer program, it begins with that outreach and the communication with the family beforehand, talking about what the summer is going to look like, hopefully assigning them with a mentor family, someone who they can connect with. And then when the year starts, when the summer starts, we have an integrated services model, but in our CEL program, which is taught by a social worker and a speech and language pathologist. It's all about social and academic problem solving and working in small groups with the kids to help them transition once they start. In addition, there's always more fun and games to begin the summer with, so they all feel part of this new summer program. And transitioning out, it's making sure that all of the assessments that we have done and the progress that we have done is passed on through families through our narrative report to them, which then can get also passed on to the next school and teachers.
Thank you. I apologize if anyone hears my dog barking in the background. I'm hoping it's filtered out, but just in case. So now we're going to kind of talk about what we touched on a little earlier, which balancing the fun versus the skill building, because I know as a special education attorney, parents ask me this all the time. They really struggle with the decision between wanting their child to enjoy summer, the camp they've gone to for years, their friends, the community pool, whatever it may be, versus enrolling in a more structured summer program or a therapeutic program. So, Amanda, what guidance do you offer families who are weighing that social enjoyment against the benefits of attending a program?
Yeah, it's such a great question and definitely comes up all the time. You really, I think you just have to weigh like the severity of the need and the situation and the outcome, and making sure that you're, of course, researching the different programs, because there's so many different programs that offer different lengths of time and structures and flexibility, that there's likely a way to, in a lot of cases, make it work, and find that balance. But I've had many situations where we've been able to fit it all in and they get to go to their camps, but I've had other situations where the student and the family have just had to come to terms with the fact that they had to be in summer school the entire summer just due to their situation. And it's one summer, it's not every summer here on out. So it's really just having those honest conversations, weighing the pros and the cons, having clarity around what the ultimate goal is, trying to find the balance as best you possibly can. But it's a short period of time that can be extremely valuable and can really set students up for so much more success in the year to come and then years to come. That even though it's a really hard decision, that there's going to be other ways to, continue to find that, those opportunities to have summer at the same time without having to hopefully give it up. But yeah, it's definitely a hard decision. I can see why for parents.
Yeah, and I hear it a lot with kids who are very sports oriented, right? The travel team over the summer or something that the child is really invested in, yet they don't have academic skills to be successful in school. So it's really hard to balance that. And I would think with Fusion's model, you have some flexibility because you're scheduling the one-to-ones potentially at different times. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. So within our program specifically, we ask parents to come in with what's their summer already looking like. So when are you going on vacation? What does the summer jobs look like? What do the sports look like? And then that way we can work the program around those times. So because we're one-on-one, we have that added flexibility. We're not fitting them into a structured program. And so we are able to work around those when a student might start in early June, take July off, come back in August and do a few more weeks right before the school year starts. Or they may front load it in the summer or wait to do it at the end of the summer or spread it out, right? We also offer virtual flexibility. So if they're away and they're on vacation and they want to join virtually, we'll allow them to do that for a period of time as well. So we're fortunate that we have that level of flexibility to hopefully be able to work it all in. Even in cases if they have to take a full course over the summer, we can make that happen usually.
Terrific. Thank you. Jordan, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is a question that comes up every year, that families are always, especially that we have middle school, we have high school students. So we have these students who they still want to have their fun summer and their parents still want them to have their fun summer. And how can they make that work? And how could we make that work as a program here? So I always like to have that conversation about what are your goals? What are you looking for to achieve during the summer program? And families want that balance. So what we try to provide is within our course, it's a 5 day, it's a 5 day week, but it's also 5 periods a day. And we like to, within those classes, really be able to provide lessons that are interactive, that really come alive, get students up and discussing, using the classroom, using our campus as a vehicle to work on these skills. We also have, built into the day a break that we provide refreshments that we're able to then have students participate in playing games, go out on the field, throw a ball, play tag or something like that, so that they have that opportunity to run around, socialize, and then, transition back to, the rest of the day, which is academic. And then for students who may be interested in more of that camp-like atmosphere, we do have after-school classes that we offer Monday through Thursday that run following our day program till 3 o'clock. And they include a sports and fitness, a podcast creation, and some other really fun classes.
Thank you. And Bill, I want to hear your answer to this because you were obviously passionate about this balance that families are trying to reach.
Uh, and me personally, it's really sometimes hard on a hot summer day for anybody to be inside school. So a few years ago, we established a partnership with Chelsea Piers so that after our 4-hour academic remediation, our kids are bused down to Chelsea Piers and have another 4-hour extended day where it is play at Chelsea Piers. And that did two things. That one helped our kids have that fun in the summer. And also, I think it was really in response to families who were looking for a full day option, not just the summer remediation, but as parents are working throughout the summer, it allowed everybody to have a full day program as well. So they drop off at Villa at 8, and then they're picking up at Chelsea Piers at 4:30.
I want to go to that.
They're even ice skating during the summer, so it's been great.
Wow. That's great. So we're going to turn now to give each panelist a little bit of an opportunity to talk about what makes their program unique, because all 5 of these schools really have very unique characteristics. So Jordan, I'm gonna start with you, and my question to you is, Winston Prep is known for its one-to-one tutorial model during the school year. How does that individualized approach carry into the summer program? And for a family whose child has had a difficult year with a language-based learning disability or attentional challenges, what specific outcomes can they realistically expect from a Winston summer?
That's a great question. In terms of the expectations, because it's a shortened period of time, we are able to, continue with that one-to-one model that we have during the school year. So students have that focus program, but during the school year, you have, 9 months to work on a set of goals. During the summer, we're gonna really determine, 2 or 3 goals of really the greatest areas of need that we could really jump right into and target through both the focus program as well as in the classroom setting, and really have that collaboration. I always, speak to families at the beginning and saying, if it's a student who is really struggling to read and to decode, we are going to be able to introduce to them some strategies, give them some tools to really get started on working on those areas. They're not going to be able to see, complete gains where this goal has been mastered, but those goals are starting to develop. And that's really kind of where we talk about. It's really laying that groundwork for future success and for future progress. But it really helps students also develop their confidence and feel good to be with learners who are experiencing those similar challenges. So as we like to kind of provide students who are not Winston students who are transitioning back to another school, at the end, we do provide a carryover packet, which has these tools, which has these strategies, these graphic organizers that have really proven to be successful, so that those skills can continue to be, worked on, and that school district can see, or that private school can say, okay, these are some strategies that work that we can try to implement as well.
And when a student comes to you who is a public education student, are you devising your program based on their goals and objectives, or are you assessing that child on your own to kind of decide what you're going to work on for that summer period?
Just as we do during the school year, we look at those evaluations that families provide to us through the admissions process, and we really use that to determine that profile and then to create those cohorts. So we're not following along with those IEP goals that they may have from their school district during the summer. We develop our own goals based on their challenges that they're presenting.
And one more question to you. A lot of times in the public school district, when they're contemplating an extended school year program, they say, well, this student isn't usually regressing. They're focused on losing skills. It sounds like you're not necessarily focused on losing skills. You're looking to continue to build skills. Is that an accurate statement?
I mean, we're definitely filling in those areas where students are lagging. So there's definitely students who come to us, who have been struggling all year. So we're going to try to fill in those, but we're developing the schools or the skills is exactly kind of what we're really looking to do, is to build those particular skills, not to say, okay, these are the three skills that they struggled with this year. That's what we're just going to target on. We're going to look at skills that could help them also, foster and benefit from other ways that maybe those other skills that the school district is recommending might not be as beneficial at this period of time.
Thank you. And I appreciate that you're sending them back potentially with some additional tools in their toolkit. So thank you. Amanda, I'm going to turn to you and Fusion Academy. So Fusion's model is built entirely around the one-to-one instruction, as we've discussed, every subject, every day. How does that translate into the summer offerings? And does the flexibility of Fusion's approach make it possible for students who might not thrive in a more traditional summer school environment, put them in a better position?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So our program is all one-to-one, every class, every student throughout the day, whether you're here full time, whether you come for tutoring during the school year, and we carry that throughout the summer as well. We do, as of recently, offer small groups that we are starting and we'll have this summer as well. But most of our students are still coming solely for the one-to-one experience. So when it's one-to-one, we can really individualize and build the student's program when they come. So as an example, I met with a family recently whose child has school avoidance, has missed a lot of high school this year, but is doing enough to pass, but is really concerned about their success next year. So we're going to evaluate and assess with each of her core classes and figure out, a program around how we can close the gaps from those core curriculum classes that she's took this year and will be progressing to the next level next year. So we can do things like that. We also use MAP testing to evaluate for reading remediation and math remediation. So we can do that as well. We do things like credit recovery. If you need to repeat classes, we can do that in an expedited fashion as well. And then we also will support students that want to take a course that we offer that their school might not offer and take for credit. But because everything is one-to-one and we have that flexible scheduling, we are able to work around students' summer schedules and keep them with the same teacher throughout the summer. So it is sort of a scheduling matrix of sorts, but that's the way that we're used to functioning. So it works well for us. And then it does work well for students that don't fit into a more structured environment because of that added flexibility where we can really individualize and customize what we're doing with them, picking and choosing maybe different aspects of reading or different aspects of writing as it pertains to them as an individual. And then also creating a space because it's one-to-one where if they aren't able to be in a classroom setting, that they're still able to get a lot of their summer program, but in individualized, one-on-one fashion.
And you mentioned credit recovery. To me, one of the distinctive things about Fusion is the ability to get things done in a very short amount of time. Can you talk a little bit about how much time, like over the course of a summer, could a student complete a course if they needed to?
Yes, they can. So as long as they have the time, this is where our the longest program typically is for us, because if you are looking to complete a full year of a credit, a full year of a course, it does require anywhere from 40 to 50 hours over the summer. Though that's on campus, in person, we do try to minimize outside work and encourage students to get their homework done, their independent work done at Fusion. We do have some new offerings for an expedited math remediation program where we are able to pick and choose some of various units that the student needs the most support in. So we do an assessment before then. It's not available for all courses. So if a student needs to repeat US history, we'll either have them take an accelerated option, which is a little bit shorter, 20 sessions per semester, 40 sessions for an entire credit for an entire year, or it could be 25 upwards of 30, depending on their learning style and their learning pace. So we assess all of that when I talk with a family, get a better evaluation of where they're at this year, why they need the credit recovery, what their learning style is, what their learning needs are. And then I would give the family a recommendation on pacing and how much time then that would take. So it's not a one size fit all, even when you're doing it for credit. There's a couple of different options that really depend on their performance in the prior year and their overall learning profile.
Thank you. And you mentioned tutoring. So you have offerings for supplemental programs rather than a full year or full credit.
Mhm.
How much of a time commitment is something potentially like a tutoring program?
Yeah, tutoring can be anywhere from 5 hours to 50 hours to, a whole bunch of things. Most of the time, what we're seeing is somewhere around 20 hours for a single subject area. Oftentimes, that's where maybe they don't need credit recovery, but they need some level of remediation. Or the way that we'll also use it is previewing. So if they're not confident in math or they're not confident in science or they're really worried about taking physics because they're not a strong math student, then we will preview the physics material based on our curriculum, which is very closely aligned to what most other public and private schools are doing, in order to give them a heads up on what they're going to be seeing so that they can enter that class with more confidence. So we'll do that for various subject areas. We'll do pre-reading for English classes. So if a student has their reading list and they want some support with reading comprehension over the summer, we can do that through their reading list, which again, it could be whatever time commitment the student and the family wants. They can do it for a few hours or they can do it, every day for the duration of the summer. And then we'll do the same thing with math packets as well. So we'll support a student with the math packet. But when we're doing that, we're also identifying gaps, spending time a little bit more in areas that they need support, and then expanding and giving them more of a heads up on, okay, you are going to see this in algebra, so we need to make sure that we're strong in this area. And so they'll individualize how they approach the math packet as well, but utilizing the math packet as sort of a pacing guide and structure.
Thank you very much. For some reason, math packets is triggering to me. It must be experience with my three
Yeah.
children.
Yes, yes. Families love when we say we'll take on the math packets for sure.
I can only imagine. Thank you very much. Jordan, we're going to turn to you and American School for the Deaf. So you have a unique and specialized mission around serving deaf and hard of hearing students. Can you speak about how your summer program reflects the school's commitment to language access and deaf culture, and what families of deaf or hard of hearing students should understand about what makes a program designed specifically for their child different from a mainstream setting?
Sure. I'd like to take that. ASD is unique. It's a unique place, a special place. First of all, we teach in American Sign Language. The mode of instruction is ASL, and the teachers are deaf and hard of hearing. There's a complete access to a visual language. The staff, the counselors, the teachers, the full communication on ground is in ASL, offered in ASL. So, socializing and social learning and language experience approach is our strength. For a student who uses spoken English, they would use ASL just as a bimodal tool for expression.
Verbal.
If they were nonverbal, they could use ASL as a mode of expression. The point is, we offer that visual instruction.
Thank you. And you mentioned that you have a residential population. What do the hours outside of the educational hours look like for those students?
Sure. During the day, they might have school in the morning. There's lunch, 1 to 3. After that, there's a rec program, or maybe the 1 to 3 is the rec program. After that, they would go to their dorm and keep a daily Monday through Friday schedule. Afterwards, there are social events on campus. There are cooking activities offered in the dorm. There are themed events, and oh gosh, you name it. We are programmed at night. And there's also PCS. And oh, sorry, I'm going to say something about the
PACES. It's the PACES and the autism program.
Thank you. Those two distinct programs are running 24/7 as well. So the students will go home over the weekends, but other than that, it's a residential program.
And what is the PCS program?
PCS is the Emotional Behavioral Training Program. the autism and that program, they work together. The needs are classified in that way, and sorry,
We have the BCBAs.
thank you. That's a specialist with communication tools and technology really focused and tailored to that individual. Then the other group is in social emotional approach with advocacy and communication. So
Thank you. Bill, we're going to turn over to Villa Maria. So Villa Maria has a long-standing history of serving students with learning disabilities. What makes your summer program distinctive, whether in terms of a therapeutic approach, how staff are selected, the types of students, or how the summer experience connects to what they learn during the school year?
So like so many of my sister schools, where all of our summer school teachers are our Villa trained summer school, our school year teachers are now our summer school teachers. The program is 60 minutes of reading, 60 minutes of writing, and 60 minutes of math with a 45-minute project-based learning. This summer, the theme, if I'm going to get this right, it's our biquincentennial. I don't know if I've heard anybody heard their 250th anniversary as the biquincentennial, but I like saying that word. So that will be the celebration of America's birthday will be the project learning that the kids are doing to kind of have fun built in. Our cell team kind of makes sure that again, when our classes are designed according to the learning profile, the kids with social communication struggles are all together practicing the skills all day. The kids with decoding needs are practicing decoding all day. So that's kind of how that structure works. Again, with all those trained teachers throughout that morning.
And have I seen photos of your outside? Do you have chickens or other things going on there that are
We
interesting
do
to
have a
me?
beautiful campus, and we have chickens and an amazing garden. The teachers are out there as often as they can. And if I say it often, especially here publicly, goats soon. So we'll have a little mini farm at Villa. Then the kids love having an opportunity to take care of everything. Tomorrow at Villa, we're planting 200 sunflowers across. Today rained out for Earth Day, but those kinds of projects that get the kids involved beyond their reading remediation, again, to make it a little bit more fun.
Love that.
Yeah.
Megan, finally we have Eagle Hill. So Eagle Hill's setting and community are part of one of the things that make it distinctive. Can you speak to what shapes the Eagle Hill summer experience, the environment, the supports, the enrichment components, and how the summer program is designed to build on or complement the students' school year work?
Yeah, so kind of like what I was saying before, the program is really kind of building on the students' school year work by giving them strategies that are typically difficult. So really that's where we're building on the strategies and the skills that the students already have and really putting them in those classes that are tailored specifically to them. So we have academics in the morning, those really target reading, writing, math. For our younger guys, so those kids transitioning into maybe kindergarten or first grade, it really is a great chance for students to be able to be in a classroom setting, maybe for the first time, and have a very hands-on approach to learning where kids are up and moving. It's very multisensory. Kids go into the car lines and they're always like, we played games all day, and I really have to talk to the parents and explain that they're academic games, and their child is not just sitting and, hanging out all day. So really kind of, again, giving students an experience where they can be happy at school, they can feel confident in what they're doing, they are able to be with teachers and other students that learn like them. And again, balancing that academics and fun. So we do have a beautiful campus. We're right in Greenwich. So the camp in the afternoon builds in field trips. We go to Todd's Point. We have water slides on campus, arts and crafts, animal shows. We use our river for different types of science experiments, building little boats to float down, really any type of activity in the afternoon that uses our campus. And then another piece, just because we don't have a high school, so Eagle Hill is really from 6 to 14. So we have a CIT program that we developed for rising 7th to ninth graders. And that's really helpful because that's in the afternoon. So students can come in the morning to do the academics, and then they can learn to be a counselor in training in the afternoon. So they're really working with our school counselor to work on leadership, self-advocacy, and responsibility. And so a lot of those skills are really important, especially when you're transitioning into high school. So really thinking about all of the different types of learners, the ages, and helping students from our youngest ones that might kind of need help getting into first grade because they got the wiggles, or, the CITs that are really trying to transition into having more of a leadership role in their life. So really, we do kind of want to give that whole package and make students feel happy and confident in what they're doing.
That's terrific. It is a beautiful campus. So that hour flew by, and I've learned a lot. And I'm going to close with another short lightning round. So from each of you, I'm looking for a piece of advice you would offer families who are beginning to explore summer programming, either in general on this journey or what they should be doing in order to investigate your school. So Megan, well, since we were talking, I'll start with you.
Um, the piece of advice I would have is go to the school. So ask for a tour, ask for a visit, meet with the people that are actually going to be working with your child because they're the faces that you're probably going to see every day in the summer and have that really strong connection. So that would be my advice is if you're looking at the school, ask for a tour, ask to talk with the people who are going to be working directly with you.
Very good advice. Jordan?
Yeah, I think that's such an important part is really get to know the people who are going to be really overseeing the program, get to look at the program. But also, I think it's really important. I would advise our families who are investigating summer programs to share your expectations. Really, whoever you're meeting with, explain what you're looking for. It's a short period of time for the summer. And the more you can communicate about what your goals are as a parent for your child in the summer, it will help that program be able to really individualize and meet their needs, especially a smaller program.
Thank you very much. Justin, would you like to add something?
Hi. Absolutely. Visiting a school, setting foot on campus, for a deaf and hard of hearing student or family especially, meeting the community, seeing how they're equipped to provide for the student needs would be self-evident,
Thank you.
especially in regards to supporting communication.
Very good. Bill?
I think that for many of the families who are going to go back to their public school for ESY, unfortunately, a lot of the public school programs are fourth grade over again. There's less remediation, there's less skill building. And again, echoing what everyone has already said, making sure you're having conversations with the teachers, with the program administrators, and really asking explicitly, will they follow what the goals and objectives of my IEP is? Here's what we need this summer. It's not just a repeat of what we did in fourth grade. I really need more reading, more writing, and more math.
Thank you. And finally, Amanda.
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is start early. Start sooner than you might think for exploring, just to see what's out there. Rather, try not to wait until, May, June comes around, because that'll give you your best opportunity to hopefully fit it all in, right? So then you can explore all the programs, when they're being offered, what the structure is, asking all the questions that we've kind of discussed, but giving yourself a long runway to see which program feels right and how you can fit that into the other things that you want to plan around the summer. So maybe lacrosse camp gets to be a couple weeks later instead of the first week in the summer. So it'll just give you more time to feel like you're making the right decision and that you have all the information that you need.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank sincerely all of the panelists for this really great discussion, as well as Julie and Danielle. Thank you very much. I learned a lot about expectations and these programs, and I hope you all did as well. And again, you can join us for our last webinar of the school year on May 6th at 7 p.m. I am currently working on the webinar series for next school year, and I'm really excited about some of the topics to come. So thank you for watching and your support of Special Education Legal Fund, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you.